Well, hey there. I wanted to have a quick look at Keychain pocket tools today. There are some great options out there. There are some not great options out there, but these can be really useful and valuable tools to keep about your person to help you out for small tasks you might encounter on a day-to-day basis. Options in this area are quite limited. You've got loads of small knives by Victorinox. You've got some knives by Nextool nowadays. Roxon, Leatherman used to make some, but they don't anymore. There's a few other little bits and bobs like pocket pry bars and things. So I'm going to do a top 5 rundown to give my opinion on which, if any of these, make really good and useful EDC keychain tools. Something small and light and compact that you can have in your pocket, on your car keys, or just about your person, and can come in dead useful. Now, top 5 in position number 5, and I don't actually have one, so I will put a picture up, it has to be the Gerber Dime. I mean, this tool's been produced for years and years, and it's quite cheap, sort of 20 quid, 20 odd bucks or whatever, but it's absolute garbage. I don't have one because I've had 2 of these, and both of them just broke. The first time I clenched and squeezed on the pliers, the back springs popped out. On both the ones I had, the back spring just popped out and bent, rendering the tool absolutely useless. Hot garbage. Straight back to Amazon, straight for a refund. The first one I bought, I thought, oh, maybe that was just a one-off. The second one was exactly the same. Rubbish, not fit for purpose. I know a lot of folks carry them and seem to think they're okay. That has not been my experience. Twice bitten, third time shy for me. In number 4 position are things like the Gerber Shard, the Gerber Mullet, and what was this one called? The Gerber Artifact. And I know there are dozens and dozens of little companies making pocket pry bars, but I think they're of really limited use in the real world, aren't they? I quite like the Shard as a little object, but what are you going to be prying with that? Not a lot. If you've got any real prying to do, go and grab a real pry bar. I'm not carrying something like this around, jangling on my keys, stabbing me in the leg, digging holes in my pocket when their use is really limited. Like I say, I quite like them as objects, and in theory you look at it and go, oh yeah, that might be dead useful. The Shard here has a little sort of 2.5D Phillips screwdriver on there, really awkward to use. Bottle opener, the bottle opener's quite good. You can use that as a large flathead driver, you can use that as a smaller flathead driver, but they're terrible to use. And a little pry bit, at least this is bent and angled, so you could get it under a nail head maybe and pry it up. But honestly, I'd just rather carry a Swiss Army knife that has a ton more genuinely useful tools, and you can use the cap lifter as a tiny pry tool if you wanted to. Same sort of thing really with the Gerber Mullet. I'll scrape a bit there, flathead. Another flathead, V-notch there, bottle opener, the Phillips there, that bit there supposed to slide over your belt loop. Just digs in you a bit really. Like I say, I tried carrying these for a bit, just never used them. Next to useless. I don't need a pry bar in my pocket for EDC. Gerber Artifact was a slightly older one, similar sort of setup. Phillips, bottle opener, flatheads there, V-notch for your pulling and angled for prying. And this one did have a little built-in X-Acto blade, replaceable razor blade on there with a little locking mechanism. I just never felt that. Jesus Christ, that easily opens. I just never felt comfortable carrying that in my pocket with an easily movable, extremely sharp razor blade attached to the end. I've used it at home as a craft knife, and it's got an X-Acto blade, so it's great for that, but I'm not carrying that. They're my crown jewels, thanks very much. So them, yeah, if you think you genuinely need one of them, you go for it, you do you. But these are just a novelty in my book. My number 3 position, well, I'm giving that to the Nextool Mini Sailor. I quite like this tool. As of January 2025, any small tools with built-in pliers are something of a rarity. There's nothing really out there this small that you can still buy new with little pliers on. It's a small tool, and they're small pliers. There it is next to a Knipex Cobra, and you're not going to be doing any heavy duty work with these, but I find the small pliers really useful for fine tasks. You can twist and pull and squeeze with them. They're quite sturdy. They meet up okay at the ends. You've got wire cutters in there as well. They're not bad on a small tool. It's pretty well made and everything. I don't like these handles. Why have you added all these bits on there? It just looks a bit naff. No need really. But you also get probably a 440C type of a blade on there, do with a sharpen, but that's okay, useful for opening packages. That's what you're going to use a blade that size for, and it's fine for that. On the other side, you get an interesting tool with a combined cap lifter and can opener. I've never used this to open a can with. Doesn't look particularly sharp or keen, but I'm sure it would work in a pinch. In this side, you get some little scissors as well. Strange mechanism for folding, unfold them. There, they look quite solid, don't they? But they will cut. They're okay, but they're just really not great. I mainly use these small scissors for cutting my nails, for cutting tags out of clothes, stuff like that. Whatever you need scissors for, and mainly for cutting my nails. And they're just not very good for that. They're not fine enough or detailed enough. So it's got some scissors, but they're just not that great, really. It's good to have them on there, but yeah, they're not brilliant. Folds away with a nice snap though. And on the other side, again, you get a little flathead type driver. That's fairly decent thickness and everything. You could do some tiny little light duty prying with that if you had to. Little flathead screwdriver and general pokey tool. And the other tool you get is a sort of 2D, shall we call it? Yeah, a 2D Phillips screwdriver. Useful, works okay. If you need to, you can extend the tool that way to get longer bit of reach, easier for turning. That's all right. That screwdriver, not bad. Attach one of those to you, and they're cheap. I think I paid about £8 for this from AliExpress. Nothing to grumble about at that sort of price. Yeah, pretty good. But easily beating that for me are the little Leatherman tools. I've got a Squirt P4 here, that's really old, and a Squirt PS4 here. I mean, that's now getting really old as well because these are all discontinued. Absolutely love these little tools. Let's just compare the Squirt PS4 to the Nextool, and the Squirt is much smaller and lighter, but is a much better tool, partly for being more compact. The Nextool Mini Sailor weighs 84 grams or 3 ounces. The Squirt PS4 weighs 57 grams or 2 ounces. So the PS4 is smaller, lighter, more compact, disappears more easily when you're carrying it on a keyring or whatever than this does, and it's just better made with better quality tools. You get a knife blade on there, again really tiny, but what are you going to be using a blade like this for? You're going to be using it to open packaging, basically food packaging, boxes and stuff. It's fine for that. It is a chisel grind, which I really don't like, so not sharpened on that side, but yeah, all right little blade in there. You also get a file with 2 different surfaces on it and a little saw, I guess a little metal saw on there as well. So that's quite good having that on there. On the other side, you get a little pair of dinky scissors. These are okay. Again, they're just not that fine, not that precise. They don't make cutting your nails that pleasurable, really. It's a pair of scissors, but they're really not the best. You also get a decently chunky little sturdy flathead driver there with a bottle opener and a very 2D little screwdriver on there that can be used on Phillips screws and really tiny flathead screws as well, I guess. So that's a decent little tool set on such a tiny knife. Open it out and you've got a really decent, very small set of pliers. Folks often think of these small pliers on these type of tools as like super tweezers, and yeah, they're just great, fine for small tasks. Dead useful, I think. I carry this one, the Squirt P4, at work, clipped into my pocket every day because I have to undo some really small little fastenings on tubing and things quite often that are sometimes really tightly stuck, and these are just perfect for doing that kind of fine work. Really useful to have. But yeah, Leatherman have stopped making all their small little pliers tools like this. Leatherman have got a great habit of discontinuing all of their tools that I find are my favourites. Squirt PS4 is gone. The Leatherman Juice range is gone. Fantastic compact tools. So yeah, they don't do it anymore. So this one I don't tend to carry because if it breaks or if I lose it, I can't get another one. This one I do carry on a daily basis if I'm at work, and it comes in useful. Mainly for the pliers, but also for the small blade. So these are ace, and if you could still get them, it might be vying for my #1 slot because of the tiny pliers. Great tools. But yeah, in the #1 slot has to be the little Victorinox 58mm range. Very reasonably priced, fantastic fit and finish, build quality, really superbly made, little tiny compact gadgets. They do quite a range of different ones, ranging from something like the classic Alox or Alox, which just have the 3 tools on them: the scissors, the file with the flathead driver and the tiny blade, through to stuff like the jet setter, which is supposedly compliant for flight. because it's for carrying on a flight, because it's got no blade. It does still have the scissors, and I expect if you've got a narky security person, they'd just take one look at that and take it off you anyway. And the other tool that has is the fantastic combo tool with a bottle opener, wire bender, wire stripper notch, and the wonderful #1 Phillips driver on there, which will fit a wide range of screws. You can use it on #2 Phillips and everything. Really, over the years, this tool has been a lifesaver for me. I can't tell you how many battery compartments on kids' toys and things this tool has opened over the years. It's a wonderful driver. I really love it, and because of the shape of the tool, it's really good to use. Jet Setter also has the tweezers and the toothpick, but that's all. But that's a tiny little knife, but still dead useful. The absolute #1 tool for me is the Victorinox Manager. You can't get this model anymore, but you can still buy the Rambler, which is exactly the same, except the Rambler doesn't have the pen in one of the scales. The Manager does. You just slide the pen out there, and if you unfold, say, the combo tool, you get a comfortable pen, emergency backup pen in there. To change the pen, you just pull that out, and you would put a new one in there when that refill is empty. So the Manager or the Rambler gets the fantastic combo tool there, brilliant. It gets the file and the small slotted driver on there. You get the tiny little blade, 1.3 inches long. The one on the Nextool is slightly bigger. The one on the Leatherman PS4 is a tiny bit bigger, but these are all the same sort of size, and any or all of these are absolutely perfectly adequate for any kind of urban EDC carry needs. I was trying to be realistic and honest with myself and ask myself, what do I actually use my little blade for when I'm in urban, everyday, day-to-day settings? And it is for opening packages. I'm not working on the farm. I'm not down in my workshop. I'm not doing my handymanning using this blade. You need this for opening packages, and all these blades are perfectly fine for that. And then on the Rambler or the Manager, you get the wonderful scissors as well. And just to go back to the scissors, these scissors on here are just fantastic. They're the best scissors on any multi-tool, in my opinion. So fine, so precise, smooth and accurate for trimming your nails. They're just the best. So whilst it's lovely to have the little pliers that you get in, let's discount that one, I guess, realistically, because you can't buy them anymore. So while it's really handy sometimes to have the little pliers in these sort of tools like the Nextool, you don't get that on the Manager or the Rambler or any of the other little 58mm Victorinoxes. You really are getting just such a tiny little package. Weight wise, classic Alox is 0.6 ounces or 17 grams. Manager is 1 ounce or 30 grams versus the 84 grams of the Nextool. So in terms of size, fit and finish, quality of tools, usefulness, this is just wonderful. Bung one of them on your keys. Potentially, realistically, for urban around town use, this could be all you need. Wonderful. Don't buy the Gerber Dime, it's trash in my experience. These are just a bit silly and pointless, in my opinion. These are wonderful but discontinued. The Nextool's pretty good and pretty cheap. I'll have one of them, I reckon, or one of them if you're not bothered about having the pliers. Oh, you can still buy the Midnight Manager, which is the same as the Manager. It has the pen on one side and all the other internal tools, but you don't get a slot for the toothpick or tweezers on the Midnight Manager. You get an LED light. You press the little shield there and the LED light comes on. Bit chunkier than the old Manager, and I don't tend to carry this because the light's pretty weak, and I always carry a separate dedicated flashlight on me anyway, and the light on your phone's probably much brighter than this light. But yeah, that's an option you can still get, to have the pen and a small tiny momentary flashlight on there. What do you think? Any other good options out there? What do you carry? Let me know, and I hope you're having a good day. Pass my regards to your mother.